Hello and welcome to Copenhagen. I don't know how you say it. It is 3 o'clock and we docked an hour ago, which is really nice. We've got an overnight in port tonight, but right now we are on a sightseeing bus because, to be honest, Dad struggles to walk a little bit these days and we don't really know what there is to do here. There's lots, but we didn't know what to do. So we're just gonna sit on the bus, enjoy the sunshine and see where it takes us. Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark. Famed for its history and beautiful buildings, it's an incredible place to walk, get lost and just see what you find along the way. The main things that are on most tourists' must-see lists are Tivoli Gardens, the Little Mermaid, Newtown, Freetown and the palaces. But there are also loads of independent galleries, markets, restaurants and boutiques to explore. So we did the full sightseeing bus tour route, which went all the way around and then dropped everyone back at the port. And so because Dad's struggling to walk, I've just put Dad back on the ship and now we're going to go and explore together. So I'm just walking along the, I think it's a canal. It's a big canal, but canal. I'm heading in the general direction of Christiania, which is a really interesting story. I think it was in the 60s. People of Denmark basically just rebelled against the nation and created their own town. It's still going today. They've been trying to shut it down and there's been a lot of contention around it because they do raids, they arrest people quite frequently, and so it's kind of self-governed, but it's also not. You're not allowed to film inside. I've only seen one person actually film inside, which was Yes Theory. I'll link the video down below. And that's only because a viewer happens to live there. But it's a really interesting story. I suggest you look it up. I'll put the name of it here for you. But it is a 2-mile walk from the port, so I don't think I'm going to manage that because it's already 5:30 and I have to be back on board for 8 p.m. So I'm just going to walk in the general direction, see what I find, see how far we get.
Let's go, grab a cup of coffee, pour it over ice, take it for a walk while we talk about our lives. I just wanna spend some quality time. And I don't need a gift, I don't need to know your sign, and we don't need to do something you don't really like. I just wanna spend some quality time.
So I'm just walking around Denmark after our bus tour, and I went to go and buy a fridge magnet, as I do for every place. If you ever want to make yourself feel really poor, look up how much things cost in Denmark because wow, I feel bankrupt now. I've had some weird things happen in my time and I'm really trying to focus more on the mentality of not caring what anyone else thinks, because at the end of the day, you're in a world of 7 billion people. You're probably never going to meet them again. I watched the changing of the guards, which was really cool, but then there's an incredible archway where you can stop and take photos. I bought this tripod for about £20 on Amazon. I thought I'm going to be brave, get the tripod out, and if people laugh at me then, it says more about them. Quite the opposite. I just stopped and got speaking to these 2 French girls and they were so nice, but they asked me oh, what did the photos turn out like, and said, aren't you afraid of photographing with a tripod? And so I showed them the photos. I literally had to stop and get the Amazon link for them because they loved the pictures and wanted their own tripod. So there you go. Don't be scared. Just go for it and don't care what anyone else thinks, because sometimes it might be like that. Thank you. Good evening. We are currently at the closed El Baccio. We're in Copenhagen overnight tonight, which is really cool. I got back to the ship at 8:27 precisely, and I know this because I was racing to beat the dinner reservation, which was 8:30. As I got on the ship, literally I was heading to the gangway and the maitre d' is absolutely lovely, the guy who's on at the moment. I think his name is Daniel. He said hello to me and he asked how my day was, which is very appreciated. And then he kind of tried to subtly look at his watch and said, "Will you be joining us for dinner in the main dining room this evening, Miss Warden?" And it was just the best, most diplomatic way to hint that I needed to get my arse in gear. I thought it was brilliant. I did make it dead on. And then we went to the Sunset Bar because the cocktails there the other night were amazing. So we went back there tonight. Not as good tonight, was it?
I think he was in a rush to get the cocktails out and close up.
Yeah, I had 3 cocktails and every single one was undrinkable. So I am remarkably sober this evening. And now I think we're going to go to bed because there's a 50% chance that we are going to have an absolutely ridiculous day on the vlog tomorrow. And I don't want to tell you because I don't want to jinx it.
It's quite long odds for it to happen, but it may do.
Good morning, internet. My dad has this really bad habit that when I suggest something that's probably a really ridiculous idea, he says yes. So, on our second and final morning in Copenhagen, we're about to go on a seaplane. Apparently my mind was too blown to film anything after the flight, but we didn't have much time after landing, so we rushed back to the ship to enjoy an afternoon sail away and some time by the pool. It's a 2 dessert kind of night. And cheesecake, and what did you have? Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
We're not going to talk about my dessert selection.
We're currently sailing in the Baltic Sea off the north coast of Germany. The distance we have covered since our departure from Copenhagen is 240 nautical miles, and at 283 nautical miles to our next port of call, Visby.
Good morning.
Denmark!
Sweden.
Yes, on that side of the ship is Sweden because we're going through...
The streets or something.
I'm going to put that here. We're going through the strait between Denmark and Sweden. Currently, I'm on my parents' balcony. If you come this way, welcome to my balcony. They open the door for us so that we have, wait for it, double balcony.
When we leave Copenhagen yesterday at 6 o'clock, we need to go to Visby tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and the speed that's required is pretty high. We need to leave on time. We always have a window like half an hour, and it depends. Like last cruise we had two couples that were late. One couple we could get in contact with and they were in a taxi, so we waited 20 minutes. The other couple we couldn't get hold of, so we had to leave them behind and become the next port.
I want to know, have you ever seen the rain down on a sunny day?
Captain Michael!
Very good evening. How are you? Thank you for being here this wonderful evening, but more importantly, thank you for your continuous loyalty to Celebrity Brand and Family.
nightcap. Apparently I'm slow tonight. There is an unwritten rule at this bar that you draw on it. It's just expected. Oh wow! Thank you. Oh wow! I never thought the day would come that I'd see my parents doing shots at a bar. Good morning. I say morning because it is midnight. We have had an absolutely lovely day. It was another sea day today. Went to the captain's talk, which was really cool. Every cruise line tends to do this. They get the senior officers together in a panel and all of the guests can come and ask them questions. And it's normally, I'll be honest, fairly mundane questions. It's the same thing over and over again, and it's good. It's interesting to see and it's interesting to hear them talk. But the celebrity senior leadership are an open book. They were really open and transparent with some of the issues that the cruise industry is facing, issues that they have on board at the moment. And yeah, I really appreciated their honesty. It was really refreshing, but I was at times like, are you allowed to tell us that? Dinner, we had the best dinner, didn't we?
We did. We had a very, very good dinner.
Basically, there's this thing called Taj nights on board, which is once or twice a cruise, they turn the sushi restaurant into an Indian restaurant because they've got a lot of Indian chefs on board. And they did it tonight because a couple of days ago was Indian Independence Day, and it's a special one. 75 years since India declared independence. And so they invited us for dinner at this Taj night event, and it was so good. And then went to the martini bar, had jam donuts, and now we are out walking along the promenade deck to go to bed. We need to be up early tomorrow because we are docking in Visby, Sweden, and it's only a very short port day and we want to go explore. Anyway, good night.